For now, let us go to the Skype machine and say hello to our next guest, a very happy Francis Ngannou. Allez les bleus, allez les bleus, allez les bleus. Francis, ça va?
Ouais, ça va, Ariel, et toi?
Ça va très bien. Are you partying over there in Las Vegas? Did you have a celebration for France winning the World Cup?
Yes, we have a huge celebration with the French.
We may have lost him in the connection. The picture is crystal clear, but we lost him there for a quick second. Yeah, I lost his connection. Okay, let's try to reconnect. If not, we can call him on the phone. But it was just so nice. It was so nice to see a happy Francis Ngannou. France winning the World Cup. Of course, he's originally from Cameroon, but moved to France. We know about his story. It is well documented at this point. I can't wait to talk to him. So we're going to call him back in a matter of moments here and reconnect with Francis Ngannou. Of course, the last time we saw him in action was not that long ago, around 9 or so days ago at UFC 226. I do think we have him back. Francis? Are you there? Do we have you? Oh, no, we lost him there. Okay, one sec. I'll wait for the word. You hear me, Francis?
I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Let's see if the connection is a little better. So you were saying you were celebrating yesterday?
Yes, we celebrated with the French community.
Oh, is there a big French community in Las Vegas?
Yes, there are a lot of French people here. So, like in this picture, some occasion like this one, they can go together somewhere.
How did you celebrate?
We just be happy, sharing, singing, allez les bleus.
Allez, les bleus. I love that. Now, let me ask you, if the final was Cameroon versus France, you would root for Cameroon, right?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
But in this case, perfect. France wins. It was a great team. Did you see those pictures? Champs-Élysées and in Paris, people celebrating like crazy. How many people were out there? Did you see that?
Yes, I saw that. I had friend in France who called me, and then they were in Champs-Élysées, and it was just crazy.
Amazing. I'm very happy for them. So congratulations to France. Now let's talk about you. It's 9 days since your last fight against Derrick Lewis, and the fight was controversial. People didn't like it. You were criticized. Here we are 9 days later. How do you feel about the fight?
No good at all. I mean, I feel really bad about that fight. There's nothing to be happy for.
You went on Instagram last Monday, and you apologized, and you said that you were feeling the effects of your last fight against Stipe, that maybe you were a little bit, gun shy out there. Could you tell, what were you thinking about? What were you feeling inside the cage?
Inside the cage, instead to fight, I was trying to just feel my body like, okay, is it okay? Like my conditioning.
I may have lost it says that we lost the connection again. Okay. Let's call him on the phone here so that we don't lose him, because I really want to have this conversation. We're getting into the nitty gritty there with Francis. This happens. This has happened in the past. This is no result of being on any kind of platform. All just hold your horses. All right. We're going to reconnect with Francis here in a matter of moments. It does seem like he has a very nice house over there in Las Vegas, or wherever he is. It's nice. But unfortunately, the connection isn't incredibly strong. So we'll reconnect with him. He went on Instagram last Monday. Let's see if I could find that. And we talked about it last week on the show. Even John Jones writing. Yeah, here it is. Writing to him on Instagram. He said, "I'm not proud of my last performance. I've carried my fear from the last fight to this one. I completely understand the frustration and anger that it has caused my fans, coaches, teammates, family, and friends, and I'm truly sorry for that. I won't let everyone down again. All I could do now is prove myself and make you proud again." Hashtag UFC 226. The caption on Twitter was, "I'll overcome all of this." Francis, let's go to the phone now and say hello to him. Francis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Ari.
Okay, sorry that we for some reason the connection was dropping, so I want to hear you, and I want to ask that question again. What were you thinking? What were you feeling in the cage as you were fighting Derrick Lewis?
In the cage for that fight, I was just thinking about my body, like scaring about what happened the last time. I was like that might happen again. If that happens again, it's not good. So try to control. So I thought about that more than to fight.
So you feel like you were worried that you would run out of gas, that you would get tired again?
Yes,
Was
exactly what happened. And yes, I didn't fight.
Now, was this something that you were thinking about, that you were worried about in the build-up to the fight while you were training, or did it just kind of pop up on fight night?
No, I had a very good training camp, feeling good. My coaches say everything is good, but in the fight, I still have that. I get that thought, and I worry about it.
I spoke to Derrick last week, and he told me that when he looked at you in the cage, you did not look like yourself. He said to his coaches, "This isn't the same Francis. He looks off. He looks scared." Does that
You know how I look?
What's that?
How did you know how I look?
That's what he said. He said he has seen that look before from opponents, and you did not seem like yourself, like the confident person that you're typically in the cage. Are you surprised to hear him say that? Do you feel like he's just saying that after the fact?
I mean, according to what I'm saying by myself, yes, like if you are in the cage scaring about something, maybe, but I think he just said that after the fight.
Have you ever felt that way before in a fight?
No. And then, that was like the game plan was the first round supposed to be like fight like that and then move forward for the second round. But I tried, so even after the first round, I couldn't release because because of the first round. So it's not definitely my style. That doesn't work.
So
I know how. So I went to some extremity to another one.
wow. When did you
For my last two fights.
did you start to feel that in the locker room before the fight, or only when you got in the cage?
Anytime I can't avoid to thought about it. You know, you still have that little bit to worry a little bit about it, even before.
And what did you feel like? Did you feel like your arms were heavy? Like, because obviously the big story was that you weren't throwing punches. What were you actually feeling?
Well, I feel really good, but during all the fight, I just don't worry about to fight. I don't go forward. I don't throw my release my my punches. Because I didn't throw nothing. It's just crazy, like this fire. So when we get back, I just tell my coaches, this is not my style. I can't fight. I can't do this anymore. You don't just work with me.
What do you mean you can't do this anymore?
I mean, I can't fight like that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, first round, just move, just do this. It's not something who work with my instinct, with my style.
What was the game plan going into the fight?
The game plan was control the first round, move. Doesn't matter if what happened. Don't go hard, and then start fight for the second round. That was the game plan.
And in between, like the first and second and third, what were your coaches telling you in terms of trying to pick it up again?
Yes, they told me yes, it's good. So I should now start to pick it up to take control. But I didn't feel that. I couldn't really feel it. You know,
Hmm.
maybe because I was too much on post or something like that.
Did you notice the crowd booing and doing the wave and putting on their cell lights? And if so, how are you reacting to that?
Uh, sometimes even for some fight before knockout, they'll wait action for the first minute and start hearing. So I try to just focus on the fight.
Right. And then once the fight was over, I'm assuming you had a feeling that you didn't win the fight. Now that the reality has sunk in that this massive fight came and went and nothing really happened, how are you feeling backstage?
Very disappointed by myself, by what I did that day. Like I should go there, throw my punch, fight as I used to fight, and then be confident, and then don't care about. The last fight was a lot of mistake, so it shouldn't be affect me for this fight. It shouldn't.
After the fight in the press conference, UFC President Dana White said that your ego got ahead of you and that he was saying that other people, even himself, had experience with this. What did he mean by that, and how did you feel after you heard him say that?
I don't exactly know what he means by that. I don't know which people he's talking about, and I think that is something that you should ask him by himself. He's the one who can give the right answer of that.
Were you hurt when you heard him say that?
Yes, I heard. He never told me. He never told me nothing. Since my fight against Stipe, I haven't seen him. So I don't know exactly why he said that, and he never told me that. Nothing. He never noticed something like that.
Did you have any issues with him, before the Stipe fight, after the Stipe fight? Because he said he had his own experience, with as he put it, your ego getting ahead of you. Did you have any issues with him?
No, on my knowledge. I mean, even if you have someone is mad of you and don't tell you, how will you know? So, as I said again, I haven't seen him. I haven't spoke with him. So, I don't know. I think in this case, if he was sad about something, he should tell me.
Yeah.
We are all human, and then sometimes we might do the mistake. And then I really have my ego. I 100% agree with you. I have an ego, and then that is something who hurt me to never stay down when I fell down. That's something you have to have that ego when you are a fighter, because that is what make you think that you're better than another one, make you stay there and believe that you're going to win. That is the ego, but not the ego to hurt people around you. Yes, I have a ego, and I know that. I know I have a ego, but not to hurt people.
After the fight, after he said that, did you speak to him? Did you try to clear the air? Did he reach out to you?
No, because even before that, we haven't speak together.
Okay.
So I don't know why. And I think if he has something to tell me, if he wanted to say something to me, he could tell me. And I don't know.
How do you think that you are going to get over this issue of, thinking about what happened in the Stipe fight? Do you feel, some fighters have gone to see sports psychologists, others have other means in terms of getting over mental hurdles. What do you think that you're going to do? Do you have any idea?
Yes, I think I'm just going to go there the next time, and then stop care about what people think, stop care about what this, about that, just give it all out there, have fun. I've been carried pressure on me, like, oh, people, how they will react, how this, they will think about this, how this, how this. And I think it's something who will really hold me and then hold me to perform. Next time, I'll train, get confident in myself, go there and just be Francis. Don't try to be someone else. Just do what I have to do. It's normal to be tired if you're heavyweight.
Yeah.
Basically, if you're heavyweight, but not too quick. Work as I can for the better conditioning and go out there. Just throw it. Just be me.
Are you going to stay? I know that you joined Syndicate. Are you going to stay with that team?
The Syndicate, we plan to. It was for this fight because even before go to Syndicate, I plan to leave to go to Europe a little bit after this fight. So I still think I will go in Europe, and then maybe my next Europe. But while I'm in Vegas, we will still. I think I will still train in Syndicate.
I lost you there for a second. You said maybe my next fight, and then I lost you. Where did you say maybe your next fight you'll train?
No, I said maybe my next training camp maybe in Europe.
Okay.
Yes, that was something that I was thinking about. I was thinking about a very long time.
When you say Europe, do you mean back home in France?
Yes, yes, the base in France.
Okay. Do you feel like maybe going back to the familiar gym that you were at would help you at this point?
The decision doesn't have nothing to do with this fight, but yes, I think it can also contribute, can help or something. Am I wrong? But anyway, that was the decision before this fight.
Do you regret moving to Las Vegas, or do you still feel like it was the right choice?
No, I don't regret moving to Las Vegas. I think it's a right choice. In life we also have ups and downs.
Yeah.
Ups and downs. So staying back in France and then this happened, I would not say I regret to stay in France. You have to assume your choice.
How much time do you want to take off? Are you? I'm assuming no injuries, right? So I'm.
No, I'm not injuries. I'm gonna take because right now I'm going into Africa. I'm gonna open my gym.
Oh. Where in Africa?
No, in my village.
Oh wow! You're gonna open up your own gym there.
It's for my foundation. I have a foundation now in Cameroon for kids. So I will open the first combat sport gym in my village, and then to help kids. And yes, we're going to open that by early September.
Wow, that's amazing!
And
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then after that, you want to fight again this year?
Yes, definitely. I want to fight this year again.
Have you started to think of anyone yet, as to who you want to fight, who would get you back on track?
Who I want to fight exactly. So before the end of this year, we still have time. But I'm supposed to fight Junior almost 10 months ago. So he just came back to great win. So maybe that one.
Yeah. You versus Junior Dos Santos.
Yes.
Did you see his fight on Saturday?
Yes, I watched the fight.
Did you like it? Did you think he fought well?
Yes, he fought well. I mean, He just came back after 1 year and then go to 5 round fight against Vlagoy, who is a very tough guy. Because I know Vlagoy,
Yeah.
he's very tough. And then he did that performance. It was a good one. It was a good comeback.
And obviously, Francis, it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to go back to the old Francis. But do you feel like you need help doing that? Like, will you go seek to speak to someone to try to get your mind to stop thinking about what happened in January? How are you going to go back to the old Francis?
Just first of all, I think it's just about first stop caring about what people would say or what people think or how people will react. I think that's the first thing. So just go there and then be myself.
And you think it's easy? It's as easy as that, and then you'll go back to the guy who was knocking out Overeem and all the other guys.
We will figure that out.
Okay.
But it's not easy, but nothing is easy
Sure.
in this sport. Yes, but we'll figure out.
Do you feel like you're getting support from people, or do you feel like a lot of people are kicking you while you're down?
I'm getting, surprisingly, I'm getting a lot of support for this one,
Yeah.
this fight, than the last one.
Even John Jones, did you see what he wrote to you on your Instagram?
Yes, I saw that.
It's nice, right?
He was amazing. Yes, he was very nice. I mean, he has more experience than me, everything, and then to be able to understand and support, it was great.
Yeah. And at some point, would you like to fight Derrick again? Would you like to have a real fight against Derrick?
Why not? I think because so far I haven't fight him because we just got there. This wasn't like a fight. It was just like
It just kind of happened. You think it's going to take a while to get over this one?
to get over what?
What happened that night?
Yes, but I think if I do it well, and then after one good win,
Yes.
1-2 win, create one good two more good fight, you might forget it.
Yes. I think one knockout, no one will talk about this again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel like you said it all, or do you want to say something else about the fight before we say goodbye?
No. Yes, I think I said it. I said what I. Yes, I say all.
Well, I wish you the best.
About the fight.
I wish you the best. I know. To me, as I said on the show last week, I feel like you coming out and explaining how you were feeling, even Derrick talking about his back, there is a clear reason as to why that fight went the way it did. And personally, I don't think that anyone should hold it against you. Not everyone has a great day at the office. And I think that you are allowed to, not have always the best day at the office. So I hope that you hang in there, Francis. I hope you don't get too down. You take some time off. You go open your gym in your home country, and we'll see you back in there sooner rather than later. And I fully expect that we'll see the old Francis back sooner rather than later as well.
Okay, Ariel, thank you. I can promise you guys you're going to see the old Francis. There's no way to be. I just have a bad day in the office. I mean, as everyone, and this almost the story of my life. But I will be back. The old Francis will be back. I stumbled. I didn't fall. I stumbled.
Well said. Thank you, Francis. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right, there he is, Francis Ngannou. You can see still hurting, but I appreciate him coming on and talking about what happened against Derrick Lewis. Now, I said after the DC fight, to me, the highlight of it all wasn't Brock coming in, wasn't Brock, pushing DC and hitting the camera and all that stuff and more. It was DC's boxing coach, Rosendo Sanchez, getting in there and pushing Brock Lesnar. sticking by his guy, having his back, being loyal. It was a beautiful thing. And so I wanted to talk to Rosendo about all that and more. He is Daniel Cormier's longtime boxing coach, and he's kind enough to be joining us on the phone. There he is. Rosendo, my man, how are you?
How you doing, bud? How you doing? I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yes, it is my pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on. So we have a lot to discuss. First, before I get to the aftermath, let me just ask you, did you really think, I mean, with his hands, to knock out Stipe that early? You know how good Daniel is. You know how strong he is. But did that come sooner than you expected?
I was telling people it was going to happen within the first 3 rounds. You know, first 3, 4, it was a great, I mean, the way it happened, it just happened so fast. And then just soaking it all in, knowing that we knew he had the power to do it, just didn't know what round was going to happen.
Okay, so it happened that early. Safe to say you were a little bit surprised?
No, not surprised at all, because all the stuff he was doing in the gym, you know, working hard and, you know, doing the stuff that he was doing to his sparring partners, I wasn't surprised with what he did.
So I was hearing leading up to the fight that he was like legit knocking people out in sparring, and that's when the discussion happened. Be like, look, you can lose a little weight, but you're doing so well at this weight. Let's not lose anything. Is that kind of how it went down?
That's exactly how it went down. You know, Bob Cook, you know, was you know, DC was so adamant about going down to 235, and then, you know, a couple of, like, 4 weeks into camp, Bob Cook says to him, he says, you know what, I don't think you need to lose any weight, you know.
Lost connection again. We'll get back to it. Rosendo, great to have him on the show for the first time. The great thing about Rosendo is that he is such a small guy, but the man can clearly pack a punch. We're gonna reconnect with Rosendo here in a matter of moments and talk to him about the win and talk to him about the aftermath. You always see him. One of the things that I love about DC and his team is that he has such a loyal squad. Like, they literally all they all travel together. They're all one. They're all buddies. They all have each other's back. And you saw that after the fight. Brock gets in there, and little Rosendo is pushing him the first one. And then Dana White pushes him and tells him, get out of here. You're ruining our moment. Not to say that the moment was fabricated, but, like, no one wants to, you know, have someone in between. Although the commission people didn't get the memo as well. And Brock kind of pushed them too, which I don't know if it's something that, you know, you should be doing to commission people. So we're going to reconnect with Rosendo in a matter of moments here. And then after that, we are going to talk to Paul Felder, who also dropped one. A good friend of mine, Johnny, wrote to me that he actually enjoys the interviews with the losers, if you will, not you know, the term that you would say to someone on the playground in elementary school, but people who lost their fights, because those are sometimes the more, I don't know, open and honest interviews. I think it says a lot about the fighters who come on and talk about losses, especially shortly thereafter. It's easy to talk about a loss like when you're in training camp and, you know, now you're trying to turn the page. But if you're coming on a week or two later, I have a lot of respect for you, because it's not an easy thing to talk about. There's such a build-up. There's so much attention leading up to the fight, and then you lose and you stumble. And in the day of social media, with all the negativity and everyone writing to you and people, you know, calling you a coward and you lost money for them and all this stuff, it can be suffocating. It really can. And so I feel for people like Francis Ngannou. I feel for the Paul Felders of the world. Anyone who loses a fight on a very big stage, who stumbles, as he put it, on a very big stage. It can be very difficult. There's no doubt about that. JDS versus Ngannou. I wasn't thinking of that. I wonder what JDS thinks about that. We'll talk to him later on in the program as well. Still to come. Robert Whitaker, Tai Tuivasa, Tyson Pedro, Chris Cyborg, of course. And later on in the program, we'll be answering some of your questions with New York Rick as we try to reconnect here with Rosendo Sanchez. So hit us up using the hashtag Helwani Show. And at around 5:20, we'll answer your questions on Boise, Sage Northcutt returning. We'll talk to him as well. Chad Mendez, Kat Zingano, Alex Volkanovski, Liz Carmouche, Jessica Aguilar, and many, many more. Let's go to the phones now and say hi to Rosendo. Rosendo, are you there? Rosendo, are you there?
Yes, I am. How you doing?
Okay, good. So we got to see you a little bit over there, but now we'll go to the phones.
Okay, no worries.
Which is all good. So you said that you guys were happy with his weight, you were happy with his power, and that's why he came in a little heavier than we expected because there was no reason he was knocking people out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, so then we get to the fight. It all goes well. By the way, he stumbled, and he didn't really want to talk about it. He stumbled the at the press conference. How big of an issue was that, and how worried were you when you saw that?
Well, when he went backstage, he looked like he was hobbling a little bit. You know, we were a little concerned. But then when we talked to him, we got back to the room, he says, just fine, we'll just ice it. We should be good to go. There should be no problems. And we kept asking him, and he was adamant that he was ready to go, and he's going to shock the world. And we were, he's a guy that's been through a lot of stuff in his life. And, when he says he's ready, he's ready. And we're not going to stop from continue doing what he needs to do to show the people how great he is.
When did you first start working with Daniel? When did you meet him?
I met him, I want to say 2010 or 11. I've been with him for about 8 years, 7, 8 years.
Wow, and what were the circumstances? How did you meet?
So I came in because back in the day I was training Tyson Griffin, and I walked into the gym because I was getting ready to help him, fight, and he started talking to me, or actually King Mo walks up. He goes, "Hey, aren't you that little guy that beat Nonito Donaire?" And I just played it off like I didn't know what he was talking about. And then he goes, "Hey, can I work with you?" And then I made that joke like, "Hey, I'm small. I don't think you want to work with me." And he goes, "Hey, let's just try it out." And it just, ended up working out to being where we're at now.
And for the record, how tall are you? Sorry, say that again?
5'2".
5'2", that's unbelievable. That's amazing. And you pack a serious punch. Have you ever had guys say to you that they didn't want to work with you because of your size?
No, actually never. But, within myself, trying to be humble and be like, you know what, maybe you need to work with somebody else, blah, blah, blah. It just ended up happening the way it was. I work with Chopper Chai Lewis Perry. He's 6 foot,
yeah.
I think. So I work with tall guys. A lot of people, want to say certain things about little guys, but, as me being a smaller guy, fighting taller guys, or, advantages, disadvantages, I've learned to grow and to understand the process within working with taller guys, shorter guys, fighting certain styles and different things,
And for the record, you are the guy who beat Nonito Donaire, right?
I was the first one to beat him before he lost to Gamboa. Yes, sir.
Back in 2001.
I don't remember I think so. I don't remember the exact date, but yes.
Yeah, I think it was March of 2001. Why did you, based off of what I see on BoxRec, you didn't have a very long career, but you had a very successful career in boxing. You were 4-1. Why did you cut your career short?
Family issues. I went through a separation, and had my son, went through court disputes. Finally, I got custody of my son, and it was like my heart wasn't in it anymore. So I was like, you know what? What's the next best thing to do? Took a little time off and started coaching. My career started with the kid by the name of Dave Terrell, out of Santa Rosa, and it just took off from there.
Okay, so you got into to coaching, and now you have this stable, and you're working with some of the best guys. And so we get back to DC. You've been with him throughout the majority of his MMA run. Do you sense a difference in the DC, the heavyweight DC as opposed to the light heavyweight DC in terms of the way he boxes, the way he moves, the power in his punches?
I just feel with that heavyweight, you're not taking away the power. I think he's evolved as a fighter, within his striking and everything else. It's like, a lot of people say he started late in his career. Well, he's one of those guys, he's like fine wine. He gets better and better as he gets older, I understand, we understand as coaches, as him as a fighter, he's got a couple more fights to go and just finish off at the top and retire and go on to his next career.
Okay, so he wins. You guys are ecstatic. He's great on the microphone, and then he calls in Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar is like a bull, charges at him, pushes him, and then you jump in there, and you push Brock. What is going through your mind when this whole thing happens?
Well, I was raised a certain way. I got my fighters back at all times, and I looked at it like he pushed my guy, threatened my guy, and I'm going to be in there to help him at any time.
Dana White pushes you out of the way. What did he say to you?
He started laughing. He says, "You again? Come on, Ro," and then just kind of told me to walk away.
Why'd he say you again? Have you done this before?
Well, we got into it a long time ago with the John Jones camp over, with the very first time, I don't know if you saw some footage of that. We got into it with them, and I got into it with Malky, and it was some stuff that was said, and I told him, I said, whatever you want, I don't care how big you are or who you are, we could do it, And then also, too, with the, what's the other kid from England, when they got into it in the cage, and backstage, we got into it a little bit, too. But
wait a second. So
I just,
is this? Are you talking about the brawl with John Jones at MGM or a different time?
Oh, it was a different time. I wasn't there for that one, because if that would have happened, I promise you, Malky would have got punched.
Wait, so which time are you talking about with Malky? I don't think I know this time.
The very first time when we got it, we had an incident. We both camps ran into each other, and Malky started running his mouth, and I started talking back to him, and we had an incident a long time ago when Anderson Silva fought. I forget who he fought here in Oakland, and he tried to disrespect me where we were sitting, and he goes, "You know who I am? I'll get you kicked out of here, blah blah." And that's kind of where it rubbed me wrong. And then what a funny story, Now we're back at DC and John Jones, and it just escalated.
Damn. So you're not afraid to get in there?
I'm not. I was a fighter since I was 8 years old. It doesn't matter my size. I feel like sometimes I tell people, you take me for granted, and I tell them, I said, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
So when you pushed him, did you feel like you made an impact at all? Like, did he budge?
He budged.
Yeah.
I was like, if he turns around, we're gonna go at it and see what happens. I'm not gonna run away from it, because this is who I am. As a coach, I'm very loyal to my fighters, very loyal to my friends. And, I don't, I think don't take the shine away from a guy that just did something great.
Yeah. How did you feel about that whole scene? I mean, I've been talking about he's suspended. I know DC called him out, and I'm happy for DC to get the fight. But there is sort of a dark cloud hanging over Brock, like him getting in there, and this fight being next, and him disparaging Stipe's name and things like that. How did you feel about all of that?
I was very upset about how he discouraged Stipe and Ngannou, and he talked shit about all these guys that put a lot of time and effort to what they do, and it's like for him to come in there and say all this stuff, to me, these guys are working hard, let put their families to the side, put all their training camps into effect, and then for him to come discredit these guys was a very disrespectful thing to me, and then him coming in and pushing my fighter was like, okay, well then if that's what you want to do, then I'm going to do something to you too. So.
Are you in favor of DC fighting Brock?
Whatever DC decides to do as a team, as a team, we'll sit down and talk about it. And if that's the one that makes sense, let's do it. And it's going to be fun. And, there's going to be a lot of talking. I pushed him, and I'm sure he's not going to be happy with it within all the publicity and media that I got out of it. Hey, I don't care. It don't matter. You can see me outside of the cage, and you're going to say something, or you might try to push me, whatever. I'm not going to be the one to bow down from it. This is who I am.
Do you have any concerns, given his history, about him fighting dirty? Not dirty in the actual fight, but him, not being clean against your guy, DC? Do you have any concerns about that?
Well, of course, we always have that concern, because for his whole career he's fought with, as clean, the cleanest ever, and it's like for these guys to be taking these supplements or whatever they're doing to, make them that edge a little better. But, at the end of the day, we go there, compete, and at the end of the day, we show who we are. We're the best in the world, and nobody can take that from us.
Okay, so that whole thing happens. DC's on board, obviously, but he broke his hand. Are you concerned? This is something that was kind of plaguing him as a heavyweight. Given what you do, are you concerned about the hand?
We're not. We went to the doctor. They said about no surgery, so we're good. It's about, I think he's going to be 6 to 8 weeks out. He'll be back in the gym, and we're ready to go. I'm excited. Maybe change up a couple little things on, coming over the top. A little different, so it doesn't happen. But it's just in a fight. We don't try to think about those stuff. We just, that's when we come back to camp and try to figure out what happened and try to fix those things.
Now, the incident with Brock, after it happens and people start to realize it exploded. What has it been like for you in terms of the attention that you've been getting?
It's a lot of people ask me, was that a show? Was it, planned? And I'm like, hey, if it was planned, I promise you, I didn't know anything about it, and I'm sure it wasn't planned. I knew he was going to be there for the, because we saw him in the back when we were warming up, running, doing the sprints, and we saw him, so we knew that he was going to be there. But for people to think that it was all planned, I don't think it wasn't.
But in terms of like the reaction that you got, the attention that you got, social media and things like that, has it been a lot? People giving you props?
They've been giving me props. I get the little short jokes, and it's like I tell people, the more you want to hate on me, the more it's going to make me successful. So it's okay. Keep hating. And there's a lot of people that have been giving me some positive feedback, like, I can't believe you did that. So proud of you, blah, 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 all this stuff. So I'm excited, I'm excited for my fighters, I'm excited for everybody that's part of our team, and let's get this another win.
Okay, so that wasn't the only exciting thing that happened to you. Of course, the win was exciting as well. But DC mentioned that on Friday, you guys got word of an active shooter where you were at in Las Vegas, and you and I believe Bob Cook and maybe some others ran towards the active shooter, or where you thought the active shooter was. Is that true?
Yes, it's very true. We were at a dinner, which DC every time does a dinner, just different for his fights. Family, friends that come in, and usually my son is 8 years old. This is about a year older than Daniel's son. Is there with us too, and he didn't come this time. But when it comes to stuff like this, me and Bob, we heard this. We got to protect these families' kids. That's how I was raised and taught. So me, Bob, and like 4 or 5 other guys went out there, and we went towards the shooter. And we went through the cops, try to make sure that everything was okay. So, people could say you were stupid, whatever, but we want to protect our friends and family. We can worry about ourselves later, and it was funny because Bob says we didn't have no guns with us or anything, but he grabbed some rocks and he says, hey, I'm going to throw these rocks. Maybe he'll have him look somewhere else and we'll tackle his ass. But by the time we got there, it was already somewhat under control. They found the gun. The guys took off running, and then we head back to making sure that our friends and family were okay.
So what exactly happened with the gun? Did it like fall out of his pocket or something?
No, I think it was the 2 guys that got. I'm not exactly sure, but I think there was 2 guys that were rival gang members or whatever. Not they had a discussion, and then I guess he dropped it, or I don't know exactly what happened. He pulled it out,
okay,
and then everybody scattered, and then that's when it all happened.
Dang.
We're called.
You didn't think twice.
Don't think twice, man. I was raised by great parents and taught me to stand up for whatever is right.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, kudos to you. Just an unbelievably selfless act by you and your team. So that's an amazing thing. DC keeps telling us that he's going to retire when he's 40. How in the world can he retire when he's better than ever? He's 39 now. He's going to turn 40 in March. Are you okay with this, or are you going to try to convince him to stick around if he keeps winning?
Well, as a coach, we would love for him not to retire, but this is his career, his legacy, and I can respect when he decides he wants to lay him down. I was a fighter myself. I don't want to push anybody. I just think that, whenever he sets his mind to set it, it is what it is, and, I think he might retire and then be like, he's going to have an itch and say, you know what, maybe I have to come back and give it another 1 or 2 fights. But I've talked to him, we've talked to him, and we've understood that this is what he wants, and we're okay with that. We got, other guys that we're going to work with, and it's okay. He's helped all of us become better as coaches, as fighters, and I love the guy. He's like my brother. As a coach, he's my brother. I would do anything for him, family.
So in your perfect world, how does he go out? How many more fights against who?
In my perfect world, he fights Brock. He comes back and fights John Jones at heavyweight, knocks him out, and then we're off into the sunset.
That would be amazing. What a scene! I mean, you couldn't write a better script for him after everything that he's been through at this point. But Brock first, right?
Yeah, Why not?
Yeah.
Just get Brock. Just get paid.
Yeah.
Then let John Jones get it all together, and then fight him at heavyweight and beat his ass.
Do you agree with
And
me?
if
Yeah.
and if Malky wants it, we can get him too.
What? On the undercard, you versus Malky?
There you go.
Dang. So you still have that beef with Malky?
Yes and no, but I mean, it's it is what it is. If it's gonna, he wanted no problems. I said okay, whatever. But it's sad. It's sad when you're involved and you're so involved in this, and then he wants to play this like he didn't know. It's like you're risking my guy's life, regardless if people don't want to take it that way. You're risking my guy's life, because we go out there, sweat, blood, and tears, and train our asses off, and then for this to happen again, and then you're gonna say that you had no idea about this. Get the out of here. Excuse my language.
So you don't believe that John Jones is innocent?
I do not for 1 second.
Okay, you think he was so you're trying to take out two guys who now have
Have to up to really, I mean, and then it really happened again and again and again. Come on.
Right. Do you work with Kane as well?
No, I don't. He's not. We works with Hobbs. He works with a couple other people. Every once in a while, I'll throw my 2 cents in. He's a good friend of mine. We always we hang out somewhat.
What's next for you? Big fighters. What do you have next?
A kid that's coming up right now, Kyle Crutchmer.
Yep.
He's from Oklahoma.
Yep.
He's fighting next month on the 3rd. I'm excited for him. He's one of those kids, tenacious. Feeding all off of DC. His work ethic is phenomenal. He's about to do some big things. I got Luis Pena. Just won on the Ultimate Fighter show. Unfortunately, he got hurt on the show. Now we can talk about it. And he fought in the finale. Very excited for him too. Fought out 55, but I think we could get him down to 45 and be a machine. Somebody to reckon with and become a champion.
Yeah. Oh, he looked phenomenal. What a great win for him. What a great weekend for you guys. What a great weekend for you, Rosendo. This was a lot of fun. I love the fact, my favorite thing about DC and his team is just how loyal you guys are. How it's so clear that you guys all have each other's back. And not only was that on display on Saturday, it was on display on Friday as well after we heard what you and Bob and some others did for him and his family and everyone there. So I tip my cap to you, my man. Congratulations on all your success as a coach. Congratulations to you and the team. And I'm looking forward to this journey with DC continuing at least for 1 or 2 more fights. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you for having me on there. Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon. There he is, Rosendo Sanchez, the boxing coach for one, Daniel Cormier, and many others. What a great scene it was as he pushed Brock Lesnar out of the way after that fight on July 7th.